really was stacked, so makes sense, I think, to go through and enjoy some of the games we didn't get to watch, like I said at the time. As in the top right, our blue Protoss player here is herO. Bottom left, our red Terran is going to be Cure. And as this best 3 starts out on Ancient Cistern, a map which I feel like is pretty reasonable for the Protoss side of things. I mean, you get a pretty standard layout of bases. It's got a good bit of size to it. There's not too much dead airspace for drops to linger around in between your bases. Definitely feels as though this one's quite good for the Protoss side of things, more so than the Terran. But we'll see what the plan becomes. As obviously neither player scouts early, so no scout from herO and no scout from Cure in these early stages is definitely a little bit of intrigue as well. So yeah, a little bit of an interesting startup as our gateway comes down, our barracks comes into play. Let's see if you're on the way out. All for the moment. Cybercore will start up. Just going to see our probe of herO going to move from the high ground down to the low ground. There is the Nexus that comes down. And again, the Cybernetics will coming up to being about halfway done. Meanwhile, it's just, a late SCV from QSD. He wants to know kind of roughly, hey, you are expanding at a normal time, right? Because then if he doesn't see a normally timed expansion, he might decide, well, I'm going to peel my Reaper away and, look nearby for potential proxies. So knowing whether you should look for proxies or just go across the map with the Reaper can be a nice bit of information to have. So that's kind of the meaning of this SCV scout timing. It just scouts the Nexus, checks it's, yep, normal timing, perfect, turn around, go home, and now the Reaper can come onto the map instead. If the SCV doesn't see a Nexus there or sees a Nexus just starting, that's when you say, oh, and you start sending the Reaper around the edges, maybe try and find a proxy gateway, maybe try and find a proxy Stargate or something along those lines. The Reaper will scout into the natural and just have a little bit of ping pong against the Nexus to start out with in the Twilight Council on the way up. Twilight will be finishing in a few moments' time. The Nexus about to finish as well. Warp Gate's about halfway through too. As the Reaper hops up and is just going to, like I said, venture on through for the moment. Checking down at this bottom left side to see a little bit of what's going on in the early stages. Reaper hops back up, going to move towards the upper right. And again, this really is just the early game. I mean, right now there's not even an adept moving out on the map, so it is a larger map. It's hard to get the units across at a meaningful time to slow down the initial Terran expansion or anything, so hero's just kept everything back at home, saying, yeah, I'm kind of fine with this. Let this game open up with a bit of normality, and then we can just go from there. He's taking the second gateway as the Robo comes online with the blink. Probably feels like this is more so him just looking to go into a, I don't think he's going to drop extra gateways here, right? Oh, he's going to drop extra gases, so he's going to stay 2 bases. He's going to go pretty quick Colossus, I think, right? I mean, you go Robo base straight away from this, and you're going to just play, like, Blink Colossus. Very safe early on. Very safe, very secure. You don't have an early third base the Terran can take advantage of or punish or anything along those lines. I have to imagine that is something of a factor as the Adept trolls around at the front, and the Hellion of Cure is just going to be coming up with the Reaper now, going around the left-hand side. So Robo Bay will start. Like I say, I mean, it's just kind of a given when you take 2 more gases in the natural. There's not really much else it can be, as the Reaper Hellion combo will try and fight against the Adept. And it goes down, bops the Adept, and it is a Hellion for an Adept in the end, which I think you're okay about. I mean, for both players, it's kind of an early game unit. For an early game unit, the Hellion now can't cause as much trouble. The Widow Mines are going to get a Stalker still. It's actually the double Stalker it was. Even though we blinked, the Stalker actually still went down. And then the second mine gets a Stalker because they were stuck in the corner. The Medevac also gets away, so it actually was kind of expensive for herO losing Stalkers. Not getting the Medevac, you might say, well, you didn't lose, probes, but actually probes are something which, actually less valuable than a Stalker in this case. Stalker's quite an expensive unit, losing one probe probably is better just to lose a probe than, you know, a Stalker at this stage, I would say. Generally seems like a reasonable assumption. As the Raven intercepted, though, as it tries to move out, and it's going to get turned around straight away. Stalker's head to the upper right side. Just going to be seeing a battery is about to come through. +1 attack. An extended thermal lands on the way out. So all said and done, I mean, the early game, you lose a Raven as Cure. That's really nice for herO because, you know, even though you lost a couple of Stalkers, now you can say, well, I took down a Raven, and a Raven is something which is not able to harass me. We've seen recently the Raven's getting so much work done in this matchup. So many mineralized, just getting auto turreted to death, forced to relocate and back away, you know, on repeat pretty much. It's just been absolutely non-stop. And that will go boosting up the left-hand side. So away we go. 8 Marines, medevac. Meanwhile, Colossus and extended thermal lance already coming through. Just got units everywhere from herO. Obviously not been a lot of pressure on because he just played Stalker Colossus off 2 bases. Never was really intended to be an aggressive opener from him. For all the vision he has, it's going to be very sad if this medevac makes it all the way by without being scouted a single time. And then at the same time, you've got this big army that's going to take the attention initially, so unlikely for that drop on the top to really be dealt with properly immediately. That could be pretty sick as our Bioforce continues to settle in the center. The couple Stalkers still just continuing along. I'm just going to be seeing our army of herO pulling back up into the natural. Marines unload. Just going to be seeing a recall into the main base coming through, and it's going to be kind of a big deal, no? Because now you've recalled into the main, it opens up this army to just get in position. I feel like that was the plan from herO all along. Either the army gets kind of spotted and the drop does well, or the drop gets dealt with and the army can do well. I wouldn't say herO's really kind of left enough kind of in a decent place to deal with this. We are going to disrupt our forward and pick off an initial Widow Mine. Cybercore. And now a Gateway will go down as well. We'll see the punishment for having built that kind of Reaper wall off in the early stages. The tank's very good at kind of dealing with the initial Colossus here as well, and that's why the Colossi don't go running into that fight. They don't go looking to pick the fight immediately. There's a little bit of a drop on the main is continuing to do some pretty good damage. Sakura opening up a pretty hefty supply lead at the moment. And as these units move forward to fight, it's actually not going to be pretty. He's going to lose the Disruptor. herO, messy move in. I mean, again, the tanks are just left there firing away. Can we kill off a Colossus? No, we don't have the vision, I think, to continue targeting. Or he just wanted to target the Stalkers. He's actually going to kill everything bar the 2 Colossi, which is pretty incredible all said and done. At the same time now, the reinforcements are going to drop onto this base, and herO is just going to be running for dear life. He is absolutely in trouble. 7 probes going down, a couple more Widow Mines, 8 probes going down. This Nexus will take some extra damage. A pylon will go down. These probes are all being chased. It really feels as though this is going to be a pretty convincing force of Cure to come through and to probably just more or less... I don't know, I want to say maybe not win out then because he does get cleaned up, but I mean, he's put himself heavily into a winning position. Worker count is great for him. The army supply is very good for him as well. He's in a great spot when you look at those factors. That's definitely something to be pretty happy with, and he's already moving out again, just ready to keep on going and keep on trading. Stalkers coming the other side. Just going to see our Bioforce coming back over. And we've seen a couple of Stalkers continue to get cleared out, as they do have more Stalkers even warping in off this prism. Widow Mine fires. Just going to be seeing this army still pressing through. Just going to see a medevac getting chased away. First Widow Mine goes down. Now just going to be seeing the Disruptor shot to land towards a few of those Marauders, but will not quite be able to make much happen there. I mean, Cure ends up on the defensive, but I think it's on the defensive in a very fine way where he's got a lot, and this is very much so a case of if he holds and just buys a bit of time, his army's going to be that much better. It's not on the defensive, and herO's, really getting back into the game on the back end of this. It's just not the case at all, as a couple of Marauders will continue to stand and fight. The Stalker's taking some shots. The Zealots will slowly move on in. One more Zealot stalking with Disruptor or producing. Just going to see this Bioforce able to start coming in with an EMP to help. Gets rid of the potential force field. There's just not enough damage with the Colossi. There is no way, even with +2 attack. And the Vikings obviously starting to work their way through that. Uh-oh! Targets the Colossus that was recall, and the other Colossus didn't get to recall. And now it's a chase down as herO is going to go running, but he's going to lose the Colossus. He will lose the Disruptor. He will lose game 1. And here, he's really putting himself in a solid position with the early movements, and herO really just struggling to recover from there. Another great EMP, and Zealots don't even have charge still, so they're really a lot less useful than you would usually expect them to be, or like them to be. The Vikings chip through the Prism, forcing the battery to heal it up. There's just no way you defend this, I think, is, again, the reality of the situation right now. And that means that Kira is going to run away with the first game of this best-of-3 series. Will fall, another Disruptor shot that lands in for Marauder. Continue through. Super Battery going to activate, and that Bioforce continues to knock on the front door. Stalkers continue to take a bunch of damage, continue to fall. The Zealots being chipped away at as well. They will continue to drop. Our probes going down. GG's, and Cure is going to take game at number 1, as we expected. Just eventually getting that done. I said about the nuke from earlier. As in the top left-hand side, our blue Protoss player, it's going to be down a game, just couldn't quite grab control of that game number 1. It is herO. Plays against here, the red Terran, Cure. Nuke? Hang on, guys, I'll get you the link. Alright, so, game number 2, and we see already a little probe getting aggressive here. Well, I mentioned last game that SCV scout time from Kiel was late, but it did come through. The scout's late again here. This could give herO a chance to take advantage of that with the double gateway. So second gate already coming up proxied. Gateway, Cybercore. And brought into play right now, and obviously we'll see this time SCV comes onto the map about the same time, right? Just going to head across, the Reaper will pop out after this, and this time he will see the Nexus much later than it usually would be, and that is obviously the sign that he needs to be a bit more defensive, and he then can begin some preparations. I imagine that's going to be his plan. As we get across to the upper side, the SCV will notice again, like I say, no expansion, and now preparations to begin to defend. I think you instantly you could stop this SCV building and start the bunker. Sometimes people have done that in the past. Looks like Cure's not going to do much. Just plays a Marine into a factory. Probably at this stage then likely going to have to just accept that this command center is going to get delayed some amount. Brings an SCV down here now for a bunker, but okay, he's actually going to bring other SCVs to defend too. This is the defense we saw from Oliveira against herO in Katowice semi-finals. Taking some shots, the SCVs gather back up, repair each other back to good HP for now. And the Zealot coming through is going to slice down one SCV already. The Reaper turns back around. Will go down, a couple Marines still fighting, and, well, 3 SCVs full. But you kind of shut down a lot of the initial pressure, and you get the bunker, which obviously shuts down further pressure, so you're kind of paying the price of a few SCVs now, to then not have to worry about it as much from here on out. And obviously it is now just a countdown until the Tech Lab is done on a factory and a Cyclone pops. That really is going to be a good defense. Obviously, extra Marines out of the barracks should be a reasonable defense here as well. So that's all just being built up to in towards what we're currently seeing. Stalkers and a couple of Adepts will actually just dive past now. They are kind of stuck here, and it's kind of important they do something soon because the Cyclone's going to be popping out in a moment. So they don't do much, and this is kind of a waste of units. The SCVs will now commit in, obviously expecting to kind of get targeted down. This is the goal here from herO, and even the Cyclone might start to struggle with this. This is a lot of units. Only got one SCV in that initial wave of SCVs coming forward to repair. There's the lock on as well, by the way, so we get rid of one Adept, but then the Cyclone has to wait, and Yeah, this depot continues to take damage. A few Marines will put themselves in reach, and SCVs from the other side to try and trap these units in reach of the other units. Is that enough? Well, 2 Adepts and 2 Stalkers on the low ground, still going to get a lot more SCVs. herO is absolutely putting some work in early game, and I would say that this is absolutely a success story. Now the Adepts in the main base have snuck through, and they are going to find themselves a few more worker kills as well, so just really a resounding victory from herO in the early stages. 11 workers killed. Even though it felt like Q's initial response was fine, yeah, you kind of pull to kind of defend that initially, and you lose 3, that felt okay, but losing 11 on top of that afterwards, that's really expensive. And herO just kind of diving by, you know, this is why he got voted 100 on offense. He just knows when he can kind of go for, you know, these brave attacks that sometimes the opponents don't expect, which, you know, a lot of other people do not go for. And he just finds some mega damage off of it. So herO, in a very typical herO way, puts himself in a nice, solid position. Why lock on the Adept and not a Stalker? You're probably a mistake. If the Stalker's almost all... If it's not a mistake, it's because the Adept can't get away as easily as the Stalker can. The Stalker could maybe walk away and get out of the airlock on. But, yeah, I mean... Obviously, I don't disagree that a Stalker would have been a nicer kill. If you know that one of those units is going down with the lock-on, then yes, the lock-on would have been better on the Stalker. Now the Prism shows up, so this pressure continues. 4 Stalkers, 1-shot Marines. They 1-shot SCVs if they want to go for those. Doesn't find anything yet. QM moves into position quickly enough. But a depth shade into the mineral line, and even with the Siege Tank here, they can just target fire down SCVs. Siege Tank fire will friendly fire a little bit, and we kill 6 SCVs again, which is, again, just very good damage that QM continues to take. And herO puts himself into very good positions as he goes into 4 more gateways, 5 more gateways, charge an Immortal. I think it's pretty clear to say that herO believes he can just end this game, doesn't need to mess around too much or anything. He's just going to be able to kind of go straight through for that, and is exactly what he's going to begin doing right now. I'll scan, just going to grab the Observer that was been an eye at the front. Always good to remove that vision from the equation. Marines, tanks beginning to move out towards the upper left-hand side. A few Stalkers will unload, and a few Zealots potentially can come along with them. The Stalker's going to get down to the south and ready for a push in. So it's going to turn into a bit of a weird base trade, perhaps. Because herO doesn't have anything at home right now. He's only just going to see this army now with this probe that's on this location. Okay, well, time to commit. He's going to come straight through. herO just needs to warp in as much as he can right now, because he has got a very scary amount of gateways. He definitely can outmask Q if he just sort of commits, although he's going to start losing pylons. It's very good for Q. Killing off the ability to produce stuff for herO is a big deal. I would almost prefer him to target down the other pylon here before he went for probes, just to try and keep his opponent potentially supply blocked. Obviously, Q losing all of his SCVs at home. He really only has the army which he currently owns. And even that I don't think is necessarily going to be enough. I think this force from herO alone could probably wipe this out. It's just going to take a little while before herO decides to come home and to actually clean this up. Could just recall right now. Doesn't matter. Just going to see GG. It's not even going to get that exciting. Dude just knows he's completely outnumbered, completely outproduced. And this is not... In the bottom right-hand side, we'll start things off with the blue Protoss player. This is herO. Ties the series up on the back of his aggression. While on the top left, our red Terran player is going to be Q. Game 3 of the series, and as we see again, just all tied up right now. As we get this underway, a probe of herO begins to move across the map. A bit of probe versus SCV action. Bit of back and forth to start things off with, and you can see our probe moving back into the natural. SCV is brought down to low ground, one to fight the probe off, one to build the command center. Both go chasing probe. Obviously, a couple shots on it just helps to deflect when you actually want to get the CC placed, which is the current issue. So hoping to achieve that in these next few moments, and there it is, command center does get to go into place. Our probe pulls away through the top, just going to be seeing our adept on the way up. Our warp gate is producing. Our next is about halfway done for the moment. We'll follow the Reaper and see what Kua can do with this as he looks for scouting, potentially some probe damage in these early stages, just moving through into this natural to start out with. Gonna end up jumping down to the low ground, just trying to figure out where we might try and go next. Come back over here, just gonna see our Twilight Council building up, a couple of probes still coming through. This Reaper does escape away out over that left-hand side. Just going to see Marines and the Hellion starboard as well, all producing on the side of Kua. Just bringing that up. Obviously, with the Hellion production, we can maybe question whether we see some kind of Hellion drop, or if there's just going to be that one Hellion into some further Widow Mines. It is just going to be Widow Mines to continue on. So, they're going to do something fairly normal. Obviously, the Hellion is able to get onto the map and scout, and then the actually pulled the Hellion around the side so the Adepts don't see it initially, but obviously now the Adepts are, I don't want to say the Adepts are trapped, but they are kind of locked into the corner for a few moments. That blink is starting up, the warp gate is about to finish. Again, 2 more SCVs just popping out, medevac still on the way through. Mind burrows on burrows, just going to be seeing the Adept still trying to shade him, just put some pressure on behind this herO, going into that blink, adding on his second gateway, and it's going to go straight to the third base, so not going to be 4-gate blink, not going to be overly aggressive, just going to use the chance to go to 3 bases here. Just set up from there, see what we can do. The sentry comes to patrol over on the far right-hand side, the other probe out down to the south. Again, continued back and forth movement there. Just going to see our Raven producing on the side of Kua, get the barracks up and online as well. So all of this still being brought in. Just going to have our Forge dropping down from herO in the main base. So there's a little bit of upgrading that can be done on his side. As our Stalker is going to intercept this Widow Mine drop immediately. Gets rid of one. Well, gets rid of the medevac. Both Widow Mines will load here as we actually... Oh my goodness, yeah, that wasn't good. The retargets were great, so we get a probe and we get a Stalker kill. That's actually really nice. I mean, that shouldn't have been anything, right? The Stalker should have been able to take no damage at all there. I think herO just went a little bit too soon. Obviously, he wanted to go through immediately because he wanted to just clean it out and get the probes back to mining, but yeah, that kind of is unfortunate. Plus one attack charge coming up here. So a couple of gateways will produce on the main. Instant impact plus one, all of that producing a Hellion chased over the left-hand side. The couple of Stalkers trying to get over to it. Hellion just about able to keep out of reach for the moment. It is again going to be that stim plus one, all coming through from Kua. And the game really gets a chance to settle down. Obviously, all the Widow Mine drop, not much commotion. Obviously, it's not meant to be an aggressive game from herO. You take that third base nice and quickly, so you never get to the Stalker count that's meant to be on the map. He is opting to play just 3 gases, and so he's going to continue to stick to kind of Stalker Zealot for a long time here, teching up a bit further down the line instead. Like I said, that is a choice. That's not something you have to do. It's something that he's going to choose to do this time. And, yeah, obviously, kind of natural, nothing really super weird about it. This nation goes pulling back over the other side and just going to go try and get some further info. Just keep up to date with what's in the main, right? Just double checking a third CC, for example, is just good to confirm. Not really much else to see, I would say, though. As you start to push forward, these stalkers let you know that this attack is at least moving out. And you obviously take a bit of a forward stance, at least lets you take the third base more easily, but it feels like it should be something a little more than that, perhaps, from Cure. He proxies up a gateway as herO, which means he has the chance to play a, aggressive set of units and warp in zealots across the map, either counterattack or just join a fight. Has got those options. He's currently building an immortal, though. He's going to secure up. He actually has a prism. Oh, no, prism. A gateway up to the top side. Better than a prism because you don't have to. Well, not really better. It doesn't fly around. Huh. Never mind. It's a downgraded prism in the top. This proxy gateway. Zealots will begin to charge forward. Just going to be seeing the army of Q going through the center. There's a lot of zealots that are going to try and hit this natural mineral line. And they go. A few units jump into the bunker. Just going to be seeing that Widowmine's power up. And, well, the zealot count is so far being dealt with well. Q still has a ton of units on the other side while dealing with this, again, very comfortably with minimal units, most importantly. Let's see if what herO has is going to work out. He's got to be an anti-armor missile on those zealots, right? Oh, the anti-armor missile's more of his own army, in fact. Got the anti-armor missile just on the forward zealot that kind of split away with the charge, so it's a bit unfortunate, but maybe it was kind of obvious that was likely to happen. Could have maybe hit the missile more in towards the center of the zealots to begin with, and that would have just been a bit more effective. Obviously, right now, covering yourself an anti-armor missile is not exactly brilliant. The tanks get swarmed, and herO pushes this back. Zealots still be in that front line you needed to be. The Stalkers getting through to blink underneath and to kill off Medivacs. And just working our way through this without issue so far. A couple of Widowmine shots going off to help, though, and herO, okay, I mean, an extra round of Zealots just about as he needs it. Going to show up here and help him to clear up a little bit. But now that the Zealots are gone, the Stalkers are on the run, the Immortal is abandoned, and herO is going to end up turning tail and running with not a lot of supply left over at the very end. In fact, it's going to turn out to be quite costly. In fact, it's going to turn out to be very costly. Force continuing across. It's going to be seeing a little bit of bio coming through, and a couple of Zealots are being knocked down still at the moment. Force into the center. A couple of Zealots come through. Stalkers, Sentries, Colossi keep on moving. Just going to be seeing this force coming into the center. Bioforce will come in. Stalkers taking some damage. Because of the front Marines, two of them going down instantly. This army of herO able to laser up a couple of those. Moving back to the center, Stalker Sentry Colossus coming across, and just going to see a couple of Zealots already going to get chased. And down to the south, the Colossi intercept a lot of these Widowmines. You can kill off a bunch of those before they burrow or anything. That'd be great. That's a great disruptor shot. I was about to hit triple mine, but he actually turns it into 2 mines, 2 marauders. It's also pretty reasonable. herO is, being just very aggressive on the map, it feels like. This can backfire in an instant. Feels like herO is not far from just being able to just turn around, concave, and surround this, but so far he's not been able to, and that's the kind of magic of herO. This army, even though it shouldn't necessarily be out over here, so far has managed to be out over here, and that's got to make Q feel less comfortable than he should. 2 Colossi go down in this fight, though. That's expensive, and now the third one will go down as well. The Zealots are all gone. Again, you're going to see just Stalkers left over. We saw that once already in this game. And just no way to retreat. A crushing fight, and again, herO's army wasn't meant to be out on the map, you say? Yeah, absolutely not. That's exactly why. As obviously, that was him kind of attacking up a ramp as well, but yeah, Q just dismantles it completely. That's not what you were really looking to achieve there. And that, my friends, should probably kind of wrap up this game as the disruptor players for the Marauder. A couple of Widowmines. Some of these Zealots just going to dive in at the same time across the map. We're dealing with the counter well enough, and we're doing well enough over here as well, I would say. Widowmines continue to help Q to just have enough to cleave on through every other part of this Protoss force. We depower the Robo facility. The Zealots that were across the map came home, only to be met by the Fire Force that still will not be killed. Lone Marauder up north was able to get a little something done. Our Disruptor shot fires through. It's going to be seeing the Marauders and Marines will just not be cleared out here at all. This is just going to be a non-stop trade out. This is going to turn into even more bio units, just continue to run in. herO just going to hang on in here, but as you can see, Cure is going to have this third game on lockdown with this attack. There is not a return from a 44 worker deficit, a 60 army supply deficit. You have absolutely nothing to play with right now, quite frankly. And that means we're going to pretty much be calling this one GG's. As herO taps out, and Cure is going to take it down.